builder, consultant, engineer, designer, and what she says is true. I had the same information from him. The thing that I wanted to mention is this. I've been talking with folks down at the NC State Historic Preservation Office in Raleigh. They came up here last week and looked at this site, spent some time, and I talked with them just recently, and here's their bottom line. They believe that the plans for this bridge are not compatible with the character of the historic district of Montreat, North Carolina. Now that's from people in Raleigh who do this all the time. And yet, here we are getting ready to go ahead with a $1.3 million bridge. Ann, your husband recommended, when I talked to him, recommended reconsidering the Tennessee Road site. And he gave many good reasons for that. I think that, I hope that the town council will consider that. The main thing that I saw there, maybe you read this because I was back there hustling around. The bridge could be 24 feet or less in width. It would be less intrusive on the area. And the folks in Raleigh tell me that it may very well be possible to continue our funding, if that's what we want to do, 80-20. By the way, the 80 is paid to you also. Just don't forget that. The 80% is your money too. But they told me that it may very well be possible that you could go to a new site, one that had already been approved by DOT, I think, Jack. I'm not sure. That Tennessee Road.
You got a lot of things in there, Don. So.
Well, none of us are right. You guys are right. I've heard all the explanation tonight about who voted when and how they voted. That's not
Don,
the way I understand
thank you,
it. Is
Don.
my time up?
It is.
Please let him
Thank you.
continue.
No.
Thank you, Don.
Call, please.
Why?
Anyone else? Old business, we have the proposed revisions to Montreat General Ordinance, Chapter I, Article 2, Noise Control. You have an ordinance, a motion suggestion?
Madam Mayor. I move that we adopt ordinance 15070001, amending the Montreat General Ordinance, Chapter 1, Article 2, Noise Control as presented.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. The second piece of old business is the resolution confirming the assessment roll and levying assessments, Upper Kentucky Road, Phase 1, Resident Assessment Project.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt Resolution 15-07-01, confirming the assessment roll and levying assessments for Upper Kentucky Road, Phase 1, Resident Assessment Project.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. In new business, we have the resolution declaring cost, ordering preparation of the preliminary assessment roll, and setting public hearing for Upper Kentucky Road, Phase 1, Neighborhood Street Assessment.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt Resolution 150702, declaring cost, ordering preparation of the preliminary assessment roll, and setting a public hearing for the Upper Kentucky Road Phase 1 Neighborhood Street Assessment.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. The resolution declaring costs, ordering preparation of preliminary assessment roll, and setting the public hearing for the Peace Lane Street assessment.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt Resolution 15-07-03, declaring cost, ordering preparation of preliminary assessment roll, and setting public hearing, Peace Lane Street assessment.
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. the Upper Kentucky Phase 1 Neighborhood Utility Assessment Project Financing Resolution 15-07-04.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt Resolution 15-07-04, authorizing staff to solicit the installment purchase financing for this project and the filing of an application to the Local Government Commission for approval of the proposed financing.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. The Upper Kentucky Phase 1 Neighborhood Street Assessment Project Financing Resolution 15-07-05.
Madam Mayor, I move we adopt Resolution 15-07-05, authorizing staff to solicit installment purchase financing for this project and the filing of an application to the Local Government Commission for approval of the proposed financing.
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. The Upper Kentucky Phase 1 Residential Utility Assessment Project Financing Resolution 15-07-06.
Madam Mayor, I make the motion that we adopt Resolution 15-07-06, authorizing staff to solicit installment purchase financing for this project and the filing of an application to the Local Government Commission for approval of the proposed financing. Second.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. The Peace Lane Street Assessment Project Financing Resolution 15-07-07.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt Resolution 15-07-07, authorizing staff to solicit installment purchase financing for this project and the filing of an application to the Local Government Commission for approval of the proposed financing.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. The second public comment period is for items that do not appear on the agenda. Again, your name and address and 3 minutes. Communication, Charlotte.
Charlotte Chestnut, D2 Links Drive, Black Mountain. I want to thank the town council for all you do for us, for all the volunteer work you spend, 60 to 80 hours a month, sometimes a week, looking after the concerns of this community. Also, I want to thank the town manager and his staff and all the chief and his officers for the protection and all they do for us. You are incredibly gifted, talented people, and you have shown us what leadership really means, and we appreciate that. And we know that when we leave our investment properties, our vacation homes, our primary homes, they are well taken care of. And we thank you. I know there is a lot of differences of opinion in this community about how things are run. I don't think it's a crisis. I don't think our community is falling apart. We're friends. Many of us have been here 65 years or more. And I think that you will continue to lead us in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Anyone else?
Good evening. I'm Jack Heinen, Heinen. My residence is 18 Red Plum Lane in Black Mountain. And I'm here tonight to bring a brief update about Monterey College and a few things happening at the college. First of all, for those who were at the parade, you perhaps saw the Centennial Float. Monterey College is kicking off their centennial year. This is the beginning of the 100th year of Monterey College, and there will be a full year of events celebrating the centennial, culminating a year from now in the fall of 2016, which will actually be 100 years from the founding of the college. So I encourage you to look at the college's website. There's a variety of very interesting events that will be coming during the coming year. And of course, as neighbors, you're welcome to many of those. Secondly, you may have seen in the media a similar college in Florida, Clearwater Christian College in Clearwater, Florida, about the same size as Monterey College, very similar in its Christian mission, similar in size, abruptly decided to close. Their board of trustees, because of financial challenges, decided to close. Monterey College was contacted by their president and immediately began a very, very vigorous effort to assist that college in assisting their students in finishing their college education. Monterey College sent a team down to Clearwater to work with the administration, the faculty, the students, and so far Monterey's received around 60 applications, a number of deposits. We don't know the yield in terms of number of students that will come because of that. But just wanted you to know this reach out from one college to another to assist those students. Hopefully we'll see an increase in enrollment because of that, which of course is a good thing, but more importantly, just the effort to help these students. Fourth, it's a busy year in campus improvements. This summer, there are 4 major projects going on. The track and field project was already mentioned. We had the groundbreaking at the Black Mountain campus, a very large project fully funded by 2 donors, 400-meter track, 75 by 150-yard turf field for soccer, lacrosse, track and field. Softball field is being moved. On this campus, on the Monterey campus, 3 projects, dining room refresh, which will be a nice improvement for our students. A black box theater is being constructed in what used to be the Kettler Grill, and the
Jack.
4th project is a renovation to the fitness center in Howerton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Communications? Tim, anything? Tim?
Yeah. You folks have been through a stressful year. We've been through a stressful year. I really support your right in coming before commissioners and saying what you feel in your heart about Town Hall or about the bridge. Continue your efforts. Contact your commissioners and talk to them one-on-one. They're very open to talk to you. They're very open to listen to you. Continue to lobby them, and perhaps some changes will come. I'd love to see a moratorium on the bridge, but I failed a couple of weeks ago in getting that. So perhaps your efforts in talking to your commissioners and writing letters will bring that about. Thank y'all.
Yes, I have a report from Land Care. We are in the process of renewing the certification as a community wildlife habitat. The certificate will come at a future meeting when it's received. We were the first community to be certified in North Carolina, and we think this will be our 10th year as a certified community wildlife habitat. Among the items that give us points for recertification are the homes certified through the National Wildlife Federation. There'll be information about that at Saturday's Cottagers meeting, or you can go online to the National Wildlife Federation's website. It's a very simple thing. You have to have things like places for animals to raise their young. We have the woods. You You have to have water. We have creeks. So there's some things like that that you can do and help us to continue to grow the number of certified homes in our community. That's part of what we need to do every year. Land Care will also have information, again, at the Cottagers meeting about some of our invasive species. We've had it at the Arbor Day and native plant sale. At that sale, someone asked if they could buy the display of invasive plants. They're not for sale. They're for identification in your yard. So that may have been someone who came from another town and wasn't familiar with the fact that some of these things that you may grow elsewhere are considered invasive here. We are continuing to work on an application to become a Tree City USA. Some of you were aware that at the last month's council meeting, we had a repeat of a presentation about the Hemlock Restoration Program by John Johnson, and also a county commissioner came. The county has also bought into this program. Our commissioner, Brownie Newman, came. Then last week, we had a repeat of a presentation by Rob Townley. He's our Buncombe County Ranger with the North Carolina Forest Service. He explained some more about the fire which threatened Montreat last spring, explained the Forest Service's response as the ones who set the backfires on lookout. If you're a hiker and you've seen how above the trestle there's a lot of underbrush that was burned, that was a backfire to protect our community. You'll also see that there was some bulldozers went up off near the shelter on Lookout, and you'll see some places where there was work done in order to make some open spaces for the firefighters to work as they cut fire breaks. They've gone back up and worked on some erosion problems that may have been created by the fire, so we appreciate that. They had some handouts. We still have some at the Town Services office. It looks like this: is your home safe from a wildfire? You talked to us last week about how to protect our individual homes to prepare us should another wildfire come. So maybe we'll bring those to the Cottagers meeting, Ron, on Saturday, so we can have them for people. I want to call your attention to an article in this week's Black Mountain News on a weevil that is attacking the yellow poplar trees. Some of you may have noticed up on the mountains, you'll see some browning trees. That's a weevil that's attacking the leaves but not the tree, because I had checked with Ranger Townley about that. Those leaves will come back next year, and in fact the yellow poplar can create a second set of leaves this year. So some of them may have little leaves later. There's also a problem with some of the red oaks. There is it's a temperature and humidity fungus that is on the leaves of some of the red oaks. You'll also see that's also temporary on those leaves. But you may know that we have a problem with the red oaks and the scarlet oaks in our community. So if you haven't had your trees checked and you have some red oaks or scarlet oaks, I advise you to have them checked, because we've had some that looked very healthy with lots of green leaves, but when they fell in our winds, the whole center of the tree was gone. I want to thank the representative from Montreat College for coming. It's very helpful to us to kind of know what's happening at the college. This is a college town, and I was going to share about that Black Box Theater, because I think it's going to be fun to have more theater available here within the town of Montreat. The college has had some good plays that we've enjoyed over at the Manor House at the Black Mountain campus, but this will give us a chance for some theater that we can have right here in town. From the Heritage Center, there's been great interest expressed in the fact that Billy Sunday is at the Presbyterian Heritage Center this summer. He's been photographed by groups large and small as the exhibit on evangelists continues. In fact, the cutout of Billy Sunday has had to be moved because so many youth got on this platform with him that the platform almost gave way. But I encourage you to go by and take a look at Billy Sunday while he's here this summer.
I'm going back to the bridge. And I know Ann Jones' husband is doing the big bridges and so forth and so on. I think you need to cut out Tennessee Road, but anyhow, the road and the bridge has been checked several times. And we still got some work in progress going on, so I don't know what everybody's upset about. 'Cause the road's been there forever, so we're gonna go forward with it.
I have a couple things I wanted to mention. First of all, before I totally forget, I want to thank the conference center. Last week, I brought up a question about open pit fires up in the picnic areas up off of Calvin Trail. And Tanner Pickett was the one who was here representing the conference center last week. And he did a follow-up. For those of you who missed it, and signs have now been posted. There are no open pit fires allowed in those picnic areas, regardless of who you are or how long you've lived in Montreat or whatever. The problem is you do have to reserve those places, and that is not our regulation. The conference center needs to know. And the maintenance staff does go up there and check after people have finished with the fires. The illegal pits that have been put in place have been removed. So the conference center is keeping an extra vigilant eye on that. I was very concerned because of the fire issue that we had, because one fire did look like the ashes had not been scattered. Someone forgot their basic scouting. So I want to thank the conference center and the maintenance staff for following up on that and keeping a vigilant eye on that situation. The other kudos I want to give are to Montreat Land Care, who are heading up the Save the Hemlock program. I think several of you, or many of you, were here when John Johnson gave the program about the program with the predator beetles that we are hoping to bring in. He also came to the meeting for the Cottagers Wilderness Open Space Committee. We met just at the end of June and had some good results from there. Cottagers Wilderness Fund, the Montreat community needs to raise, it hopes to raise at least $6,500 to help pay for the beetles. That's the funding goal from the community. There's a potential Buncombe County funding of $7,500. And Saturday at the meeting, and there's a few of them here, there is a handout that gives you this information. The Cottagers Wilderness Committee voted to pledge $2,000 to this fund, and also that we would help process the funds for anyone from the public who wanted to make a donation. So Joe Stannard, Rusty Frank, and John Johnson are instrumental in helping this program get off the ground. And as I said, I have flyers, and Joe has provided me, and also Commissioner Campbell, who is our land care rep, with envelopes for those of you who may not be there at the meeting, but who want to go ahead and take this and make a donation to that project. So this helps give some good information. And I believe there's information on the town website as well about the program. If not, check with Joe. You can check with Rusty. You can check with John. I'll answer questions as best I can, and try and get to the cottagers because they will have a lot more information on that. The last thing I want to address, and I appreciated Mr. DeBose's comments about safety when it comes to the Texas Road Bridge. That is one concern that I have had this week. So I tried to do a little research and some basic math. I went through the list of registered voters in the town and to see who all needs to use bridges in case of emergency evacuation. The issue really did come up this winter. As all of us know, we've been talking about the fire, and there have been issues with flooding. You know, are we going to have to do any evacuation? Chief Staggs touched on it at last week's meeting, talking about the need for extreme safety and precautions, and everybody being in place, and they brought in some Black Mountain Force, I believe, to help with the safety issues at the parade. Unfortunately, in this world of ours, there's a lot of great unknowns. He was hoping there would not be a lone wolf. Fortunately, there was not. But the issue of safety with evacuation was raised. 2 years ago, I understand, it took the EMS about 14 minutes to get through the crowds across one of the 2 bridges that are open down here to be able to reach someone who needed immediate medical attention. So it's an issue, and that type of issue does come up. I went through the list and ruled out anybody who would need to use the Calvin Trail Bridge, because that services a particular community, and also didn't count anyone who would be up in the Shenandoah Road Bridge, because that has its own bridge and that services a specific community. But the Lookout Bridge, the Community Circle Bridge, the Assembly Circle, I think it is, the bridge down by the barn, and then there's also the Texas Road Extension Bridge over here, which is a little harder. Most of those bridges are older bridges. 25% of our registered voters, approximately 25% plus or minus, live in an area of Montreat that would need to use one of those 4 bridges to evacuate. Now, that's just the registered voters. I went for worst case scenario. During the winter time, you also have all the college students. You have additional college students. A few of them are registered in Montreat, that this is their place of residence. In addition to the students at the college, you have faculty and you have staff. You also have staff from the Montreat Presbyterian Church. There's also staff from the Christ Community Church is up in this area. You have all of those who staff the stores and the resource center over here in the Moore Center. And that does not count people using tennis courts and walking around. So that's considerably more than 25% of the community would have to use those 4 bridges to evacuate. During the summertime, I cannot even estimate how high that percentage is. Excuse me, I did forget one very important group. Christ Community Church has a nursery school. And they're up on that campus, and those children would have to be evacuated along with frantic parents trying to meet up with them. But those people have to be included in the thought, do we need this extra bridge? During the summertime, you have, every week, you have an additional several hundred conferees that are on this side of the creek, depending on the week as to how many. That does not count how many people are just here for a little R&R, our seasonal residents who are in town. You have just a whole lot of people on this side of the bridge, and people playing tennis and the clubbies and all sorts of people. I think it is really important that we get this bridge in place, as Commissioner McCaskill mentioned. We ask that this bridge be able to handle more than just automobiles. The EMS, the fire trucks, all of that equipment would be able to get over that bridge much easier and safer than across the 2 bridges over here. Mr. Sonnenberg mentioned one very important point, because 2 of those bridges, you've got blind sites trying to turn off of those bridges onto Assembly Drive. Anyone in this room who's ever been in a hurricane evacuation, if you've ever had to be in an area where trains have overturned, you've had to evacuate, snow evacuations, all of those things, you know that regardless of how organized your people are, your police departments, all your safety departments are, it's still very difficult. And we know how bad it is after church, when you're trying to pick up the kids from clubs, during worship and music, when there's a bazillion cars in town. And I can guarantee you it'd be about 2 or 3 times worse than that. even though it would probably be more organized chaos. But it's very important that we get that extra bridge built so that we can have better evacuations. Quite frankly, I think the safety of the members of this community and the visitors to this community are much more important than aesthetics. That's what trees and good landscaping, land care, and all of your committees within town who help take care of that can make that work. Thank you.
And I'd just like to thank the college for their report, and I'd like to thank the conference center for the wonderful 4th of July parade they put on and the ideals that it reflect the spirit of our community as a whole, of a town, a college, and a conference center, churches, Presbyterian Heritage Society. We have to realize we are a place with many points of view, but we all choose to live here, and we should choose to live here as best we can and in harmony as best we can. I am on the Cottagers Board as the liaison from the town, so I've taken the privilege of speaking last because that's the next event coming up within our community, that we have our meeting on Saturday morning in Convocation Hall. I hope many of you will be there, and I want to share with you the opportunity to purchase the Montreat Almanac. Kent Smith has spent many hours putting this together. It tells many things Montreat. I don't think any book could ever tell all things Montreat, but many things Montreat. If you have rental property, investment property, I understand that Graybeard has purchased 80 of these for their Montreat homes, so you might want to have one for your home or for your guests that come into your space or just for yourself. I understand the hard copies will be available on Saturday for $5 each. And if you're a Montreat cottager, which I expect all of you are, you can get them online, downloaded online. So see you Saturday.
Thank you, Mary. We have to decide our meeting dates, and the first date we need to decide is for the town hall sanitation date. The cottager meeting is on the 1st of August. So is there sometime in that next week that everyone's available that we could meet? The sanitation, you want to go to the end of the month?
July?
August.
I will, I think I sent you a message that I am traveling from the 19th to September 7th.
So if you want to do it in August, it'll have to be that first week. I leave on the 12th.
I'm available Thursday.
Okay, during the day,
During the day.
All right.
Right.
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Ron.
Well, just remember I'm gone those last 2 weeks of July, and it's that we won't have time to prepare anything if we need it.